how's it going? And welcome back to the channel. My name is Ricky Reed, and today we're going to be talking about 3 tips on how to become a better musician. So before we get started, of course, we're all different. We have different talents, skills, habits, all those kind of things, right? So these are just 3 tips that have really worked well for me, and I hope they will work well for you. All right, let's get to it. Tip number 1, record. This one is probably going to be the most painful, but I promise you it is probably the most helpful as well. Recording yourself is such a vital part of how you can practice, and it has really helped me transform the way that I'm playing. When I don't record back, I just think that everything sounds awesome. This is great, I'm killing it. When I turn on that recording, it is the worst thing I've ever played in my life. When you're able to listen to yourself back on a recording in real time, in context, you are able to hear all the things that you did well or not so well. So whatever program you're using, if you're using Logic, Ableton, or even voice memos on your phone, that works awesome. But you're able to go back over and over and over again and hear the things that maybe you didn't do so well and how you could change them. So when you're listening back to recordings, the things that I pay attention to are tone, timing, and note choices. So to be honest, the jam at the beginning on that little solo take, that took me over 100 tries to get where I thought it was good enough. And even then, it still wasn't perfect and exactly how I wanted to do it. But most things aren't going to be like that, especially in a live context. But going back and listening to these recordings and kind of shaping how I'm doing things every time, I'm able to do more things than what I'm able to do on the first pass of improvising or trying to solo. The best thing about recordings are that they are 100% honest. Sometimes we play for friends or family, and if we ask them how it was, they will always say,
"Wow, that was so good."
But even if you played maybe the worst thing ever, they will still say the same thing.
"Oh, wow, that was really good."
The recordings don't lie. And that's why it is such a great practice tool for you to use and hone your instrument and your skills. Tip number 2, create. So this tip takes a lot of courage. And personally, this one is pretty hard for me. Sometimes I don't think that I'm good enough or creative enough to make just a piece of music, right? But if we break it down, most songs end up being 4 chords in some sort of pattern, right? And just having some great melody line. But the thing that we have to do is just make it, record it, and put it out there. Now, the hard thing about this one is that for me, I get stuck in trying to perfect things. And I just have to know that it will never be perfect. It will never be good enough. In my eyes, right? But that's not the point. It's just to make something and see exactly where I'm at in this moment. You can make changes to those anytime you want. But if we're just talking about how to become a better musician, we have to make and we have to commit to putting something together that shows the full picture of where we're at if we're using it as a practice tool. So how I apply this tip is by doing these YouTube videos. If you notice at the beginning of most of my videos, I'm doing some sort of jam. Even if it's only a minute or 2, I'm trying to create something brand new every week. Chord progressions, a different melody line, trying to use different techniques and skills while I'm playing just to make something brand new, and I'm committing to putting it out there. I can honestly say through those moments, in just these 4 videos that I've done so far, I've seen myself become a better musician. And like I said in the first tip, it took me many takes to be okay with what I played, but I just need to commit and try to see exactly where I'm at as far as the full context goes and the full picture of my skills, and then find exactly where I need to improve. For some people, songwriting comes easy. I am not one of those people. For me, I need a certain set of rules, even just basic rules, to get started. So where to start is having a basic understanding of music theory of what chords work well together. For instance, the 1, 4, 5, and 6 chords work really well together, and that makes up most of pop music's song structure. There are so many of these videos on YouTube, and I'll link a really good one down in the comments for you. For me, creating a piece of music is a great way to snapshot your progress and see exactly where you are. And it's going to be really cool when you could look back on it and see how much you've grown, even in a short amount of time. If you're enjoying these tips so far, go ahead and like this video so I can know that you enjoy this content. Tip number 3, play with other musicians. Hopefully you can find a group of people that are really nice and fun to play with that are also talented. Rhett Scholl has talked about how to become a better musician, and this is his main point, right? And he's totally right. You just got to get out there and play. And when you play with others, you might be really intimidated to go and play with them just because you think about skill and everybody will be judging you. I thought and think that exact same way even to right now. But it is honestly the way that you can grow the fastest as a musician. If you can, try to just jam with friends. There's tons of musicians in areas. You just got to ask if somebody plays an instrument. Admittedly, I don't do this enough right now. I really want to get back into it, especially as I'm about to move to another country. I'm excited to hop back into jam nights or just playing with bands, finding some friends, any of that. But this tip definitely takes the most guts. It will shape you in the most profound way possible, but you really got to put yourself out there. And going and finding jam nights or friends to play with is the way to do it. If you are the best player in the room, that's awesome. But most of the time you're not. There's always somebody better. Honestly, the best place to be is to be one of the worst players in the room. And that way you can learn and absorb the most and just pay attention to the people around you who are really doing great things. And you try to mimic them. And that's how you can get better. I hope these 3 tips have helped you in understanding how you can become a better musician. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe and I'll make more like it. Thank you for watching and have a good one.